Hey everyone, this is just a video on the graphing project that we're doing, taking a look at sliders and also movable points on the graph to help you come up with the equations that you're going to use. So I'm going to go ahead and just do this one with the parabola. A few other videos in the future I might also demonstrate some other equations, but this kind of process is generally something you can do with any equation. So um, normally we might put in something like this, like y is a times x minus h squared, right, plus k. This is sort of what we call the vertex form of a parabola. And when I type it in that way, it asks me to add some sliders. So an a, h, and a k, I'm just going to add all those. And what that allows me to do is adjust, right? So my a I can adjust and it'll change the graph that's over there. Let me go and hide that for a second. I can change the h, right, and this will move it left and right. I can change the k, I'll move it up and down. So this will allow me to kind of move it left and right where I want it, right? Move it up or down or where I want it, and then also adjust kind of how wide or how narrow, vertical, moving up or possibly going down. So I can adjust all that just by changing the values in the sliders. Um, you can also change the bounds, like when you get pretty close, sometimes it's useful to modify the range of these sliders. Like maybe I don't want all the way negative 10 to 10, maybe I'm somewhere between 7 and 8 and I want to get a much finer slider where it's not always moving by just 0.1, maybe 0.01 or something like that. So let's go and try a piece on here, and I'm gonna go and change the color. So you can hit that gear icon and then click on the color if it's not one that you want. Usually I like to start with something I can see, so I'm going to change it to that orange that's right there. Depending on what you have, different things may show up better on your graph. So you may like the purple or the black or green or something like that. It just depends on what you want. But usually at least for me, the orange is pretty bright and I can see it contrasted on the other stuff. So let's go and see what piece we might want for a parabola. I can see a couple of possibilities. I'm going to go ahead and hit done. So one might be this mouth section right here, might be a good place for a parabola. Another might be the Hobbs body down here on the left. That part might be okay. So we might try a couple of those. Let's go and try the mouth first, see if that's going to work. So I'm going to move this up around this area. And then again, right, I'm just kind of dragging these sliders. Can move that over there, and then I want this opening down, right? So I could try to open it down, and then I might, need to adjust things. So again, like this is negative 0.4. That's close, but maybe not exactly what I want, right? So I might change this now to say negative 0.5 is probably the lowest I want to go, and maybe negative 0.3, right, would be the highest I want to go. And step size, I'll put 0.01. So this is how much change it'll do when you drag that slider between those values. And then just hit enter, or you can click the play and then pause it real quick, but I'm just going to hit enter. And now I can adjust that, right, and it'll make a little bit finer adjustments than it did before. Same thing on the H and the K. You can always adjust those a little bit more. So right now I'm around 5.6. So I know probably 5, maybe 4 we'll put in, and maybe 7. Right now I go every 0.01. So I know in between there, right, can go ahead and drag those guys. Right. All right, let's do the same thing for the K. The K is going to be somewhere up here right now. It's around 8, right? 8.1. So we'll say maybe we'll go 7.5 up to 8.5, right? Probably want to stay somewhere in there. Again, step size, I'll just put 0.01. And this gives me just a little bit more control, right, of where things are going to go. So I can move it up, I can move it down, but it won't go quite as far as it used to with just a slight change in the dragging. And a lot of times that just helps you get a little more control over things. All right, so this, let's see, and if you find, oh, I wanted more, right, you can always adjust these, right, so maybe negative 0.1 would have been better, and now I can adjust it, right, even more, stuff like that. So that's kind of the gist of using the sliders. I'm going to go ahead and we'll come up with one for this one. Let's see, and then I'll show you another technique for using actual points on the graph where you can drag those around. So I would say this is pretty good, right along that borderline up to about here, right, where then we'll have to come up with probably another equation for that part of the hand going through there. If you wanted to, maybe adjust it more where it went all the way over here, you could try that, right? You would have to drag things more. So that's kind of up to you on something like that. The key part, right, when you find something you're happy with is make sure you recopy that equation with the numbers that you found rather than just moving on to something else, because that equation right now, if you modify any of those sliders, that will change, right? So you want to make sure you copy it down when you get there. Let me see. I'm going to experiment just real quick, see if maybe moving all the way over here would be a possibility. Don't know if it is. That curve doesn't seem like maybe going all the way over would be that great. So maybe if I went here, it might work a little bit better. Getting kind of close. So you see, right, you can just adjust, right, some of those things as you go. Maybe that K needs to come down a little bit more at this point. Yeah, I don't know. I'm also kind of picky when I do my own stuff. So anyway, a little bit of a perfectionist there. I'm going to say that is good enough. So we're going to end like right here by the tongue and then go up toward the finger right there. So let's go ahead and put that equation in. So like I said, I'm going to recopy that. So this is going to be y equals this negative 0.22 times x minus h, and the h we're putting in 6.18. That's going to get squared, and then plus k, so plus 8.21. And then that would be, again, Desmos will pick a color, right? It picked black. Black is probably what I want, right, for that guy. You are going to want to restrict it, right? So we'll talk about restrictions in a little more detail later on, but for now, one thing you can do is just put in your left and right, where you want it to start and stop. So I want it to start somewhere around here, like 2.59 for that x. So that's my lowest value, 2.59. Less than equal. So you just type in, right, the less than, then the equal, and then Desmos will change that automatically. Then the x, and then another less than, equal again, and then I want to go clear up to around here, right, which is about 6.18. So 6.18. And that will draw, right, just that part, right, and if you want to, change the color, you can change it to see, right, is this really where I want? You can also change the thickness, right? I might want that to be 4, thickness 4 instead of thickness 2.5, right? And that'll make it a thicker line, especially when you zoom out, right, for something like that. And don't forget, this is going to be the scale that we're at, right, about that negative 15 to 15 and negative 25 to 25. So this scale is what I'm looking at. So usually I'll zoom in to try to get it pretty close and accurate, but when I zoom out I want it to be something like that. So I would say that looks pretty good for that part of the graph. We'll do another video here where I talk about points that you can drag to move your stuff and how to do that. But if you're just using the sliders, right, that's kind of how that would go.